What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and today it's our first Philadelphia Eagles post-game reaction and grades video after an awesome, absolutely awesome 32-6 victory where just right out the gate, man, we know Atlanta was not going to be good, but Philly were the underdogs. Philly won the game. We're going to be getting some hot and readies and a lot more Monster energy drinks on the Eagles and on Vegas. After Philly was underdogs, they were not supposed to win this game, and they went into Atlanta on the road and absolutely dominated the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to get into some reactions, some grades, and everything in between. I do want to say right at the beginning that we got about almost 2,000 new subscribers from the opening month of Madden and stuff like that. So there's probably some people that are like, what is these videos? Well, I'm a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. I love talking about the Eagles for better or for worse. I think it makes some pretty good content. One of those viral videos is reacting to the Philadelphia Eagles drafting Jalen Hurts. But I will say, without getting too YouTube-y, I am a partner of a YouTube network, and my contract is ending in October, which gives me a little bit more free reign to start secondary channel stuff. A lot of less loopholes for me to jump through. And I am planning, don't know if it'll be right at the end of October, making a secondary Eagles channel for content like this. I'm thinking watch-alongs and stuff like that could be pretty cool. Like, I'll just stream during an Eagles game live, and we can just chill and hang out and react and all that good stuff. But until that point in October, this is the hub for everything content for me. Be it Madden, be it college, be it Eagles, it's all right here. And let's have some fun with the reactions. Obviously, there's probably usually more people that enjoy watching my reactions after Philly sucks and they lose. But hey, baby, we got the dub, man. Very good game. And I'm excited, man. Let's go into the grades, and then we'll have some takes after that. So Jalen Hurts, 27 of 35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 60 yards on the ground running. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know my thoughts on Jalen Hurts right now. I think ultimately, and I think I've conveyed it enough, that for the outlook of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles, I am preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Jalen Hurts is a terribly easy guy to root for, and it's just, you know, and we saw it actually a couple times today. I don't want to be overly negative because this was an outstanding performance from Jalen Hurts, but there were a couple plays where it's like the things that he sucks at kind of would flare up the ugly head. There was a pass to Zach Ertz that was pretty badly underthrown. Could have been a touchdown. Could have been a lot more. He had a 4th down scramble and a couple of other plays where pocket was clean, and he just decided to, turn into a ballerina, get outside the pocket, and kind of, set the offense back a little bit. But other than that, man, Jalen Hurts was lights out, and I am absolutely pumped. If he can take the reins, and even though, I have gone on record a couple times being like, why did we pick this guy? He's not that good, and all this stuff, I still have never been so attached to my initial opinion that I would never admit that, like, man, this guy can develop. This guy can grow into a great quarterback. It was just at that time, and it was what it was, and I think it was very valid and fair criticism. And it still might be, man. Falcons suck. Falcons suck, and we get a test next week against the 49ers, even though they almost choked it against the Detroit Lions. It's still going to be a tougher test. But let's just continue to live in the moment. Jalen Hurts is getting an A. He was simply outstanding here today. And, while I will still kind of hope that maybe 2023 we look at a quarterback, Big DJ from Clemson, got Young from Alabama, got some other guys potentially, Richardson from Florida. Oh, Anthony Richardson on the Eagles. That would be beautiful. Reuniting with our OC, or our QB coach, sorry, that was his OC. But, ultimately, Jalen Hurts good enough today, man. Good enough today, and I'm going to be telling you right now, whatever that money line pops over Philadelphia next week against the 49ers, I'm smashing it, baby. More energy drinks, more hot and readies on Vegas. That's what I'm saying. Jalen Hurts, outstanding. Miles Sanders, 74 yards. We had 62 yards from Hurts, 37 yards and a touchdown for Kenny G. Kenny Gainwell, love that selection. Ultimately, run game was on point here today. No Boston Scott. I would say maybe sprinkle in a couple more Boston Scott carries, but there's only so many mouths to feed, and, let's be honest and realist. Miles Sanders, I'm not going to call him outright injury prone, but it is good to have a lot of depth. And having Boston Scott not get any touches and just waiting in the wings, if he has to get called into duty, I think all of us as an Eagle fan base are comfortable with Boston Scott potentially having a lot of carries on any given week. The running backs as a whole, I'll give them a full grade A minus, somewhere in that range. A couple bad run plays here or there for the offensive line. I don't really think it was on the running backs. Questionable call. There was a 4th down when they gave it to Kenny Gainwell. Didn't really like that much, but ultimately, yeah, I'll give the running backs here an A minus. Look at the receivers. Devontae Smith, baby. 6 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Reagor had 6 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, 4 for 42 and a tutty. Quez Watkins had 3 catches on the opening drive. Quez Watkins, Hive, what up? Happy with the receivers. There wasn't really any bad drops. that I can recall. Not a lot of bad words. Devontae Smith looks like the real deal. Jalen Reagor manufacturing him touches way better than Doug Peterson did last year. And probably my favorite play of the entire game. Actually, I don't know. There was a run play that Brandon Graham absolutely demolished Mike Davis in the first half. That was awesome. Still think the play of the game, and I tweeted it on my Twitter, was on the Jalen Reagor touchdown. He had Jordan Mailata, the man that just got a $1 trillion contract, and I am so excited. I don't think you can be as... Like, is there an easier offensive line to like between Jordan Mailata, Jason Kelce, and Lane Johnson? And then you saw just the talent of Brandon Brooks. It might be like the best offensive line, the funnest offensive line in the NFL. But they had Jordan Mailata pulling, and poor Richie Grant, man, at a UCF, the safety, one of the more talented rookies, one of the better picks that the Atlanta Falcons made in the draft, and Mailata absolutely murdered him. Like it was bad. Like I think my tweet was like roughly around like, oh, Mailata got $40-some million guaranteed. He's gonna need to use that to pay his bail because it was. I thought they could have called it back for some sort of like unnecessary roughness on him. So you haven't seen it, go check out the Twitter, man. That was awesome. All the receivers. I mean, obviously no one popped. No one got 100 yards. Would have been nice because Jamar Chase and guys like that went off. But Devontae Smith, very good, man. I think we actually have. Finally, like a high pick, it's one game. Sample size is small, but you just saw Devontae Smith. His route running was so crisp. His hands were crisp. The chemistry with Jalen Hurts looks good, even though I think that is probably the most overrated narrative right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's like, oh, Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith played at Alabama. It wasn't like they were like a 1-2 punch. They like barely played. I think it's I don't want to say false narrative because they did technically practice and play together, but people always hype it up like, oh, well, no, it's a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 tandem from college reuniting. Wasn't really, but it looks good, man. Offense was firing on all cylinders. Give the wide receivers as a whole B+. The only reason why is just, come on, man. I'll be nitpicky. We should have got a 100-yard receiver on the game at some point. And I think maybe if you take away a couple of those drives in the fourth quarter where it was just a bunch of lazy runs and play designs and we just keep being aggressive, probably would have hit a 100-yard receiver. But again, nitpicking at this point. Special teams were fine. Jake Elliott didn't miss any kicks. And Sipos, the punter with 3 gongs. His first NFL game, 3 of his 4 punts were like down within the 10-yard line. It was outstanding. A+ for the special teams. Jalen Reagor had a couple nice punt returns. So did Quez Watkins. And then from the defense, I kind of came into this game being like, I hope Philly wins, and I hope Kyle Pitts, who was the first-round pick for the Atlanta Falcons, goes off, because I am a massive Kyle Pitts fan for what he did for my Florida Gators. And Avonte Maddox absolutely dominated Kyle Pitts, and that is not a favorable matchup. Kyle Pitts, 6'6", 245, but Avonte Maddox finally back in the slot. He must have had 3 or 4 pass breakups on Kyle Pitts, a couple good tackles as well. He was outstanding. Javon Hargrave had 2 sacks. We had Ridgeway had a sack. And a sack fumble that got called back for intentional grounding. Ridgeway's making plays. Fletcher Cox was dominant. Bunch of pressures. Linebackers were kind of shit. I'll be completely honest with you. I was not impressed with any linebackers. They were too reactive. Eric Wilson, I think he missed like 2 or 3 tackles. Was not particularly good. But the secondary, I think Darius Slay, I don't think he gave up anything big. Calvin Ridley did absolutely nothing. Steven Nelson was very good. I actually remember a couple big-time plays that he made. A couple big hits as well. Kavon Wallace. They gave Marcus Epps the start. Yeah, Marcus Epps kind of reminds me of Chris Maragos, for those you remember. Like a guy that's like, okay, is what he is. Probably just a special. Let's not put him out there, though. He's a special teamer. They went with Kavon Wallace. He made a couple plays, had a really bad PI, I believe. But ultimately, the safeties did their job, man. Anthony Harris, one of those kind of performances for the safeties in the back end there. Didn't really hear their name getting called a lot. Kind of like an offensive lineman. That's probably pretty good. Means they weren't getting beat. Means they weren't getting exposed. And the defensive line was utterly dominant. Defensively, outside of the run game, I think I would give them an A+, but that run game was incredibly suspect, and we have a very, very strong running team coming up next week for the 49ers. Maybe Mostert won't be playing, but between Elijah Mitchell and the rookies, rookie Mitchell and Sermon, they're a team that wants to run the ball. And I'm a little worried about that matchup, but A+. No, I'm not going to say it. I'll just give him an A. I'm not going to overrate it because it's week 1. I'm feeling happy. I'm vibing. We'll give him an A for the defense. Definitely need to tighten that run defense like they did in the second half against the Atlanta Falcons. Game balls. We have 1 on offense, 1 on defense. On offense, you got to give it to Jalen Hurts, man. What do we have here? 35 passes and 7 rushes. So we'll say he had 40 plays and maybe 2 or 3 were kind of shit. Other than that, pretty much lights out. Game ball on offense going to Jalen Hurts. Game ball on defense. I honestly, for me, I think I'm going to give it to Avonte Maddox because I absolutely thought Kyle Pitts was going to dominate us. He didn't. I think you could easily give it to Javon Hargrave or someone on that defensive line, but I'm going Maddox because more often than not, if Kyle Pitts was getting targeted or made a play, Maddox was the guy right all over him. Obviously, that's probably some help from Anthony Harris. But I'm giving Maddox, he actually was the leading tackler, 7 tackles on the game. And I'm giving Sipos, man, 3 gongs. I respect punters. And you get some gongs like that, by all means, man. Very, very happy with the performance here today. I think if you're an Atlanta Falcon fan, really disappointed with the offense. I mean, you look at them, they got Jalen Mayfield at points. He was considered a first-round pick. He was god-awful. I don't know if you want to, he was a tackle that slid into guard. Maybe you want to put him back on a tackle, make him a swing tackle or something like that. Kyle Pitts only had 4 catches, 31 yards, and didn't really do much of that until garbage time. Really didn't do anything, not a lot. I think the best thing for Atlanta is probably like, all right, well, you're switching schemes on the defense side of the ball. Grady Jarrett looked pretty good, and Cordero Patterson had a couple slashing runs. But other than that, it was just a dominant performance from the Philadelphia Eagles. And without trying to just, become too clickbaity and too outlandish and too outrageous, I will say after this one game, I'm like, if this is what we got for the Philadelphia Eagles, dominating play minus some penalties on the offensive and defensive lines, Jalen Hurts being a game manager at worst with some big play upside, the receivers staying healthy, the run game, the one between Kenny Gainwell and Miles Sanders, baby, I think Philadelphia absolutely will contend in the NFC East, especially if you're seeing, Dallas. They lost Michael Gallup. They're going to lost their right tackle. They're starting to drop a little bit like flies. If Fitzmagic's out for any extended time for Washington, Giants are I already thought is kind of Eagles-Giants 11 level playing field a little bit. But if this is going to be the Eagles this year, I think absolutely, man, they're going to be in it. They're going to be in it, and I'm excited for this season now. I was always excited because you never know. I said it in my predictions video where I was predicting I had Philly coming third place, in the NFC East. But I said that going into this year, this is the first year as a Philadelphia Eagle fan that I'm not super hyped for the team. I think literally every year for the last 15-ish years I've been an Eagles fan, I've kind of gone in with like, man, we're going to the playoffs. We're going to win this division. This year I was like, all right. Maybe the first year I'm like, who knows what's going to happen? I don't think we're going to be particularly good. But the mystery of what if we are good kind of made me excited for the year. And seeing it here, I'm buying in, man. I'm buying in on the kind of out of left field head coaching hiring of Sirianni. I'm buying in to the first ever defensive coordinator, first job being a DC. I'm buying into Jalen Hurts. I'm buying into these young playmakers. We are a young team, an unknown team that absolutely punched Matt Ryan, an established quarterback, and his team in the mouth. And we started the season 1-0, and as it stands right now, our first place in the NFC. So let me know how you feel about this one in the comment section below, guys. Do you think Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback of the future? Or you still think you need to see a little bit more? Who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite performance? Who are you giving the game ball on offense or defense in this game? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Go Birds.